top 5 most underrated movies of the year. Let's talk about them. Let's get into this video. Um, let's start with the one I'm putting at the bottom. This is one I'm putting at the bottom because it's not a good movie, but I liked it and I want to put it on the list. So it's my list. I can do whatever I want. And I'm putting it here not because I didn't like the movie, but it's just like the movie. Here's the thing. We're talking about Prisoners of the Ghostland. This is a new Nicolas Cage movie. Bought it on 4K. Watched it as soon as I got it. And while the movie's not great, I think there's a lot of fun entertainment with this movie. And I thought it was engaging enough. And I think the movie had some cool special effects. So I feel like this is a movie that is worth at least appreciating, so I'm just putting it at the bottom of the list. Not a great movie, very flawed movie. I can understand why certain people don't get into this one because it isn't that good, but like there's a lot to appreciate there. So that's what I'm putting at number 5, Prisoners of the Ghostland. Number 2, I'm putting, or not number 2, apologize, number 4 on this list is a Netflix animated movie that no one talked about, and it makes me sad. And it came out in a series that was okay, and that's Arlo the Alligator Boy. This is a movie that as soon as it came out, it was kind of just forgotten. This show is about, well, Arlo the Alligator Boy, and he goes on an adventure to meet his dad in New York, and all these different various characters become his friends. And then by the end of the series, by the end of the movie, they end up moving into this town where they become friends, live in this town together. And it's about the different adventures that go on there, which I liked the movie a lot. I think the music, while not being the greatest, I think it's a little too modern popish. It's still like pretty good music. It had a good heart to it. It was a cute little movie. And this series is not bad either. I'd recommend both on Netflix. If you have Netflix, definitely check out this series. I think it's great. And I think if you are a fan of those types of animated movies, kind of like fun adventure little movies, then definitely check this one out. Number 3 on this list, I'm putting this at number 3 because I will say it is pretty well known, but it still was a box office failure. And when a movie's a box office failure, can you really say that it's a well known, appreciated film? No. So I'm gonna put In the Heights on number 3 because while a lot of people did see this movie and a lot of people did talk about it, a lot of people didn't. I have the post behind me. I obviously loved the movie. I thought it was great. This movie had so much fun. Was so much fun. It was just, the music was fantastic. 96,000. I have Renza. 96,000. That song was great. The whole movie, the cinematography, the dance choreography, everything about this movie was great. Though in retrospect, the length could have been a little short. And I think that's the biggest reason why this movie failed, right? There's other musicals that come out now, and I think this was the longest one that came out. I think it was almost 3 hours. And for a lot of people, I think that was a turnoff. But still, a really great musical. I think easily one of the best films of the year. But unfortunately, it was a failure. And people want to look at this new West Side Story thing, and they go, why are we getting, a remake to that? It's a perfect movie. And I agree with you, but, it's like, how many more people are going to go see that movie over In the Heights? Probably a lot because of brand recognition. So, I don't know. Just saying. We are the problems that we create. If you want more original films, we have to support them. And In the Heights was one of those. So, just saying. Number 2, Ron's Gone Wrong. This was an animated movie that came out in October. And I think I have a couple movies on this list that came out in October. This was one of them. And, I'll just be honest, because of the fact that a lot of the 2020 movies got delayed till 2021, it really made this end of the year time get really packed with movies, And October was a big example of that. We had 2 to 3 new movies a week, and most of them bombed, and it was really sad. And unfortunately, Ron's Gone Wrong was a very big proponent of that. It wasn't a huge failure. It's going to be on Disney Plus soon, so I don't think it's playing in theaters anymore. So if you want to see this movie, wait for Disney Plus. It'll be there soon. Also, it's available on 4K and Blu-ray, which I'd recommend picking up. It's a good movie. But Ron's Gone Wrong, it came from this new animation studio called Locksmith Animation, and they're a company that has a license through Disney and Fox to distribute their movies, and they're like a British animation studio. And this was a really great movie. The animation was not the greatest I've ever seen, but it was a pretty good looking movie. But what really got me was the story. The story clearly had a lot to say here, and it had a really good heart to it and message to it that was really well delivered and put together. I saw the movie twice, and I thought it was fantastic. The humor with it was good too, and it was delightful. And it's really a movie that I could see myself watching over and over again. And I think that, if you haven't seen this movie, you definitely should, because it was great. And it's definitely the most underrated animated film of the year. I think possibly the best. I mean, besides Mitchell's versus the Machines. So, I don't know. But it was great. And then let's talk about, let's see, the next film I want to talk about is number 1 is The Last Duel. This was another one that came out October that was a failure. And I think Ridley Scott's best film he put out this year. He put out House of Gucci, which I did not think was bad at all. I didn't think the movie was bad. I thought it was good, but this movie had a lot to say. This was a movie that, on first viewing, I was positive on it, but also a little bit more just like, it was good. I don't know. Then the more it sat with me, the more I thought about what the film was saying, what it was, talking about, the subject matter of it, the more I fell in love with it, because it was really had a lot to say about the issues within the film that I won't spoil for you, but it was fantastic. It was beautiful, the cinematography, the movie looked amazing, the movie was incredibly well acted, and it was just such a good movie. And it's unfortunate that more people didn't see this movie, but I think a lot of people are blaming Ridley Scott, saying he doesn't have the appeal he used to have. I disagree with that. I think he does. It's just a matter of his films are coming out at a time where there's so much competition. This film came out, I think the week Halloween did, and in between Dune the week after, so it was pretty stacked for releases. And I think there was another movie that also came out the week Dune did, so it was shit. And House of Gucci came out at an awkward time. It came out Thanksgiving week, and that movie came out the same week as a Disney movie, which it's and Resident Evil. It's a very crammed release date schedule right now, and I hope that next year we can start to fix that. But I think it's going to be a while before we get back to not having 2 to 3 movies per week sometimes, because I think we're getting to that point, and unfortunately I think these releases are not succeeding. It's just unfortunate that people are blaming Ridley Scott for this movie's failure. I don't think it was on him. I think it was the release schedule. But if you haven't seen this movie, you definitely should. It was great.